You know, there are times in which I read something and I read it wrong. So I'll have to read it again. And there are times in which I'm not so certain about even my correction, if you will, if you'll consider it that. I'm not so concerned about that this time because I have heard things on this video that bother me. And as I watch it again for, I don't know how many times I've watched this, and this is just part of it. It really needs to be heard in the full context, including with Hillary roasting Trump, because both candidates get to speak. But first of all, let's correct the first obvious thing. This is not a dinner that's held after the election. It's held before the election with both candidates as a fundraiser. In this case, it was held October 20th, 2016, and the election was, of course, in November, 19 days later. And it's very interesting because I appear to have transposed, if you will, changed the keys, or I appear to have perhaps even inverted this, even taken it the opposite, which I hope I didn't do. But I also realize that the inflection that I hear, the inflections that I've heard at different times, are vastly different. So on the surface of this, and this is Trump roast Clinton and Al Smith charity dinner. This is a CBS News channel. It's had more than 14 million views since October 20th, 2016. And it's not that long. This is just the Trump part of the speech in which he roasts Hillary, but she also does the same to him. So it's about 15 minutes and 50 seconds long. And it's pretty interesting. I thought that this was held after the election and he had already won. But no, he hadn't. And they do try to make jokes. But the thing is that in this humorous delivery, they tell us some truths. And these are very disturbing truths. So the first thing that sticks out is they talk about the great work, which brings us together. I want you to understand that these people have a goal. It is the great work. And on face value, looking at this, you would think, well, they raised $6 million for the homeless or for those who need help. They raised $6 million for the charity, the Al Smith charity dinner. They raised that much money. Net, 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 as Trump says. And this goes to the Catholic charity. So that's great. That's wonderful. Okay, it's for a good cause. So we think. But he talks about the great work. And that is the euphemism that's stood out for me from the work that I had read by, who wrote Morals and Dogma? Pike, I think, wrote it himself. I think that's what stood out as the great work. And then if you listen to the jokes and all that, they're not that good. And you realize these people are pretty much told to laugh in advance at them so that they can be entertaining and make believe it's fun. But the fact is, they are there telling us. This is the great reveal. They are telling us what their goals are. They are united in the great work to destroy humanity, to destroy mankind. You need to, that's the great work, to destroy us. And then what gets me is when Trump talks about never in our wildest dreams did we think we would be alive to be witnessing this. And by the way, the point and placement of the applause on this is very important, because the applause, the greatest applause, is after the words, the phrase, never has America been so divided. Divided, they conquer us. A divided house against itself cannot stand. They are doing their best to destroy us. They want to destroy us. These people represent the oligarchs, the ones that are hidden behind the scenes, and they interact with them and they partake in the largesse, in getting the most goodies of all. And if you listen to this carefully, you'll hear Mr. Trump say, never before in our wildest dreams did we think we'd be alive to witness this. In other words, there's a pride. We're proud to be alive today to witness the unraveling of humanity. So I think that's the greatest danger we're facing. This event that's coming, the end of the Earth Age and all that, I don't think that's the big danger. I think our bigger concern is this, because this is the killing of the soul, the taking over of our minds, and it is going to, they're doing their best to set us up at each other's throats so we destroy each other. So they have set up this new civil war that they insist we're going to have, and since we won't touch it off, they're going to have the Muslims touch it off. Or rather, they're going to do a false flag and have some dumbasses in there pretending to be white supremacists touching it off. The Muslims need to be uninvited. I don't care if they were born here. They chance death to America, and they're going to kill us because we want to burn their holy book. That's what they say. No, that's not what we want to do. We want you going back to your own country. Enjoy your holy book there. We don't want your Sharia courts here. We don't want your equality for your way of life here because it negates our way of life. So good boundaries make good neighbors. Good, intact, healthy borders help keep the peace. It helps to keep the nation intact. We've been denied that, and we've been denying that across the whole planet. And so those people that are over here feel like we have it coming. And in a certain sense, we have it coming. So I want you to understand, these people on the dais, on the stage, under those bright lights, with the tuxedos, with the white bow ties, all dressed in the same suit. The women get to wear their fancy dresses and expensive jewelry and all that. This is a big show. They are all members of the same party. They work for the same team. George Soros controls the State Department. He controls most of them. It's a little bit indirect, and it's hidden from the rest of us. And they go to great lengths to camouflage this so we can't recognize it for what it is. But as Trump says, we're gathered together to support the great work, which you've all dedicated, this night for? And we've all paid huge amounts of money to participate in this? The great work. No, the great work is the destruction of the planet, destruction of humanity on the planet. That's what they want to do. These people believe they are the gods, or they work for the gods. And believe it or not, and I haven't watched this yet, but according to, oh man, I can see him, and he doesn't have everything right, but he claims that the gods never went away. They went underground. So there are people that appear to be role-playing the ancient Greek gods on the planet, behind the scenes. I think they really mean it. And you have to look at how the Bible intersects with those things. If you don't believe me, let me go right to the Bible and give it to you right now. And I need a little bit more light. It's nice to get my home office taking a little bit of shape here for us. So I got a little bit of light on the page, but what was I thinking of? Oh man, just skipped right through my mind and kept on going. I'm trying to look at Revelations that I cannot remember what was so important. These people want to destroy us. There's no doubt about it. And It appears as though they were busy at the Tower of Babel, trying to destroy us there as well. So at this point, they're working to their great work, and they want to reduce us to sheer barbarism because the accuser wants to justify getting us destroyed, which is what the Jews do to every civilization, and I want to call them every civilization they enter into. That's just the way it is. And you may say, well, you're pretty wounded, Dr. Kent, aren't you? Aren't you a very disturbed individual? Yeah, I am. In ninth grade, I lived in Winthrop, Massachusetts. Moved there half the year through. My dad wanted to sell the house and take military housing so he could sell the house and make some money. It was a good move on his part. It was a bad move for the family because we went to Winthrop, Massachusetts, which is basically off the end of the Boston airport's runways. The jets flew over all the time. We just had to live with it. Very disturbing. And the Jews beat the shit out of me every chance they got. I even had a cute Jewish girlfriend then that we couldn't talk in public. But she was kind of an outcast, and I guess I was lonely and kind of an outcast. I thought she was kind of cute, and we talked for hours on the phone. But I have to tell you the truth. I went to my freshman prom with the prettiest girl ever. I mean, Lilo Gallagher was something else, man. She was petite, she was blonde-haired and blue-eyed and fair-skinned, Irish as can be, and oh my Lord, she was... I didn't understand women very well then. I didn't understand myself at all. So here I am, I want to go right to, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you. That's Revelations 3:9. Shall we go to 9:11? Revelation 9:11. Imagine that. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue his name is Apollyon. It's Apollo. And that's where CERN is built, over an ancient temple to Apollo. And you understand, this is the king over the bottomless pit. And I know you and I tend to think, well, that's hell's beneath our feet, right? Heaven's up above, right? I mean, that's the way it's always been, right? No, the bottomless pit. What else is a pit? A pit, a nuclear pit. A nuclear pit is very destructive. Our sun is a nuclear pit. It gets irritated when it passes through this particular part of the galaxy every 12,068 years. And every 25,000 years, something else occurs in the galaxy. It's a giant clock. It's set up to recycle itself. And so the bottomless pit is our own sun above our heads. Apollo, the god they worshipped. Destruction, Abaddon, Apollyon. What happens is the sun's surface becomes irritated by all of the space dust that it collects. And it like forms a shellac coating on it. And eventually the sun erupts and blows that shellac mantle off of itself, clears itself of this material, and it goes off in all directions. The globe just pops, and that's it. And the earth is way out here, and a little bit of that hits the earth physically, electromagnetically as well. And what ends up happening is the earth increases in mass. The earth grows. It has a different frequency at which it operates. And we have extinction and speciation. Extinction we understand quite well. Things die. The atmosphere changes. The ability of the planet to support certain forms of life change. The atmosphere is not as dense as it used to be. There's all kinds of things that happen so that species die out and species appear. It is respeciated. There are new species that appear. They do not evolve, they are placed here. Adam was placed here. I know we have the story of Adam being created, formed on the ground. Well, that refers to the earthy man having been created here. Yes, the ones that were here first. You know, we call them Indians or Native Americans, indigenous peoples. And they have been here for 1.75 million years. They have survived many Earth ages. Even the Hopi were taken in by the ant people into Antarctica, where they survived for a time until it was safe to come up on the Earth. I've been meaning to go by there, but I haven't been able to. Yahweh, please bless me and my rig and my well-being. Keep me safe. Get this thing going so I can visit these peoples and learn from them. You need to understand, they look forward to reducing us to animalism, to sheer barbarism. That's what they're looking forward to. They want to have human blood shed. They want massive amounts of it. And they want it because they say it brings new life. I guess it fertilizes life in the oceans or something along those lines, or fertilizes the earth. It is a sacrifice to their God, not to ours. It is a sacrifice that they're willing to make because it's our blood. And believe me, there's some ugly stories that came out of the Soviet Union back in the time of the gulags. And the Jews, the atheistic Jews, were the ones running the gulags. And they were killing the Christians. It was said they killed 60 million. Then they brought it up to 66 million. I believe it was more like 100 million. I haven't read the Archipelago Gulag by Alexander Solzhenitsyn, but he covers that. And the people in Russia have kicked out, from what we can tell, the bad blood, kicked out the bad fake Jews. That's what it looks like has happened. I don't know for sure, but I think that may have happened. And they are actually empowered above us today. They are going to kick the snot out of us if it comes down to a war. But those people that we are throwing off today, that we're waking up to, are willing to make that sacrifice to stay in power. They think, according to Roseanne Barr, that they'll just move on to India, or they'll just move on to China. Well, they've been in India, and they've been in China for quite a while. Mao Zedong was a mix. He was half Ashkenazi Jew. They already were there. Kissinger, Henry Kissinger, the German Ashkenazi Jew, went over there and set up business with them to empower and build that nation up and to take us down. That's what they do. They stay on top by keeping us fighting each other. They stay on top by keeping us funding our own demise. That's why I say the moment you stop participating in this voluntary aspects of this government, the moment you dig your heels down and you say, not going to take it anymore, not going to participate in your fraud, not going to use that lousy shit you call money that's not money, but is a lie and a fraud, not going to wish that upon anybody, not going to go to your courts, the British Accreditation Regency. The Crown still rules America through the Bar Association. We're not going to be doing that. We're going to be going to our own courts, and we're going to kick your attorneys' asses. That's what we used to do. They didn't like that, and they went after us. And we are nowhere near as bright and sharp as the founders were. And the proof of that is in their writings. You read the way they wrote. and you will understand things. You read the way they wrote, and you will understand that even the highest, most educated people today cannot approach that. The evil ones are shrewd and sharp, that's for sure, but they aren't that smart. They have overplayed their hand. People are waking up. I want you to get out there and tell people that they are exposed, and we need to rout them out for the vipers that they are. And Trump, unfortunately, appears to be the king snake at this point. They have total control of the son of a bitch. He's no longer our president. He's a traitor. He's not for America at all. And I know everybody says we got to give him a chance. There's going to be Gassar. There's going to be this. There's going to be that. Oh, there's people that are body doubles, and they've been killed in Guantanamo Bay, and that's just the body doubles. Look, don't believe that bullshit at all. I'll tell you another one, which you might not want to believe. There are 200 immortals on the planet. They keep on drinking and living on human blood, rejuvenating themselves, and they keep on reinventing themselves and walking freely among us. They rule this place. They were given dominion here. And it's our job to raise our being, our vibration, our status, our standing. How? By reading the Bible, abiding by the laws of Yahweh, the law of life, following all of the little instructions given in here. Oh yes, there's going too far for sure. There's being stiff-necked and getting religiosity and just doing the wrong stuff. That's possible. To do the wrong stuff for the right reasons, or the right stuff for the wrong reasons. We are living at the time of Mystery Babylon. The evil ones are required to tell you what they're going to do before they do it. The purpose of the Trump roast, Clinton and Al Smith charity dinner was to tell us all that they're working together to destroy America. That's what the big game is about. That's what William Guy Carr warned us about. That's what I'm warning you about. The two seeds of evil is real. It's not just a theory. You've got the descendants of Ishmael, and you have the descendants of Esau. Esau became known as Edom. Ishmael became known as the Arabs. Is every Arab a Muslim? No. We need to stop stereotyping. We need to stop painting folks and the creation with one broad brushstroke. You have different races of human beings here. That's all there is to it. And everybody has something to teach everyone else. Everyone has something to contribute, except for the parasites. And the parasites have done their best to put the parasites in us and on us that are killing us and harming us today. They have scheduled in early deaths for all of us. We live to 60 years instead of 120 years. Trump was talking about 120-year lifespan like that was a campaign promise. Where did he get the 120 years? Right here in the Bible. It says it in here. Right after the flood. Man's lifespan will be limited to 120 years. Well, where's my 120 years? I've been cheated out of it. So what are we supposed to do about that? Trump says we're all supposed to get MedBed cards. He made the announcement one time. That's what they have. That's what they've had for quite a while. They've had nuclear weapons on the planet for a long time, too. It wasn't just a recent invention. They've had them here for ages. All the days of Isaac were 104 score years. 180 years old is how long Isaac lived. But you got to remember, Isaac was here early on. This book is just amazing. I need to spend more time in it. I want you to look at Trump roast Clinton at Al Smith's charity dinner, CBS News. It's on YouTube. It said there's 6.84 million subscribers to CBS Central Broadcasting, Columbia Broadcasting, Columbia, Washington District of Columbia. Boy, they change the names on ISIS all the time, don't they? Let me see if I can, there we go. Show the transcript. Oh yeah, there we go. This stuff has come around since then. Show transcript. I hate this mouse. Hate Windows. Yeah, it's not going to let me see the transcript. That's interesting. All these comments. And it says, this man does not give a flying fork. 5 years ago. Here's one, 2024. Who was watching? Who's watching this pure gem? Anyone here after the Al Smith 2024 Al Smith dinner? Imagine being in that pit of snakes, speaking your truth. I like to read the comments because they tell me the zeitgeist, what's going on with the people. 7 years has passed and this man has not changed a bit. That was published a year ago. Look, folks, they don't change their stripes. They don't change at all. It's their nature. They've inherited it. It's in their DNA. You need to understand they are not us. They are not human. They got little pieces of human in them because they've interbred with everybody they could. They probably interbred with all those animals and weird hybrid species that we read about in the Greek myths. That probably was real, by the way. I don't think that was unreal. And of course, that's the reason you don't eat pork, because it's so closely related to us. I think I said all I need to tell you on this one. You need to watch this and realize that he's basically telling you they are working together to destroy us. They're working together. You need to understand that there were three great evils, and one of those is organized religion, another one is education, and the big bad one is government. Our government is not ours. It's their government they wield over us. We need to take back a county by county, local rule. Thomas Jefferson said that if we ever find the republic has been taken from us, we reclaim it one county at a time. We resolve not to let anyone enter the county who is not in agreement with the Constitution. I think Thomas Jefferson got that one right. I think we need to follow his advice, county by county. And it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. States like Mississippi got more than 80 counties. But from Mississippi, we have Jones County. From Jones County, we have the great lesson, the great example. After the Civil War, the men in Jones County got together and decided they didn't want to be ransacked like the rest of the South was getting ransacked. The Northern Army was out of control. They weren't behaving civilly. And so they decided they weren't going to let anyone in the county. No outsiders. And they defended it. And they said, if you try to come in here, we will kill you. So they were bypassed by the Northern armies, and they were spared as a result of that. Jones County set an example for us. Now, I'm not suggesting we follow the miscegenation of the leader of Jones County, Mr. Jones, but I think we need to understand we have to keep out those who do not believe as we do. So whatever you do, do not allow the Muslims, do not allow the fake Jews. Don't allow them in. Don't allow them in at all. Don't allow them to have an inch of land. Don't allow their buildings of worship. It's freedom to choose your religion, not freedom from it completely. It's freedom so we didn't have an official church for the state religion. Thereby, we could get along with each other because we had different flavors of Bible-based Christianity. There was a religious test just to run for office back then. That's why it wasn't put into the Constitution. It was kind of like the militia. It was assumed to become a part of our regular life. We never thought we'd be without our militias, did we? We never thought we would be without our religious institutions and our culture, but we have been fighting a cultural war. And so it's time to set the others in their place. So I think you better pick your place, because you will be needing to hold your ground where you are, and if you're in the wrong location, it's going to be hard to stand your ground. So you need to pick a place where you know your sheriff, and your sheriff has your back. And you need to form up a militia, because if that sheriff acts up, it's your militia that goes after your sheriff and takes him into custody and delivers him to the judge, puts his ass in jail. And I know most of the number one dope dealers in the counties are the sheriffs. We have really screwed ourselves up, and you and I might want to point our finger at the Muslim and blame him. We might want to point our finger at the Jew or fake Jew, whatever, and blame him. We want to point at the other and blame, but we ourselves are to blame. Well, actually we're not. We are responsible. We are the ones that have to stand up, hold our faith, hold our ground. We are the ones that have to make sure we are not deceived. Yahweh bless.